Hi there, I'm Sherry Bridger of Hip the Hoopla. And let me turn on the music just a little bit here. And we're going to do a belly hoop blast. So get your hoop going, grab some water. This is going to be a very short, what I do with the blast is it's a short class. So what we're going to do is make sure the music's on. Here we go. All right. And we're going to take the shoulders, lift them, lift them, lift them, lift them. And then we're going to rotate around the hips. Nice big hip circle, keeping the hoop parallel to the ground. Go in the other direction. Rotate, 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 rotate. Okay, now we're going to take with the shoulders, shoulder roll, shoulder roll, shoulder roll, shoulder roll, hip, 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 hip. Shoulder roll, shoulder roll, shoulder roll, shoulder roll, hip, 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 hip. Faster. Shoulder, shoulder, hip, 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 hip. Shoulder, 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 hip, hip, hip. Go fast as you can. Shoulder, 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 hip, 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 hip. Shoulder, 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 hip, 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 hip. Hard to say really fast. Hip, 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 hip. Shoulder, 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 hip, 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 hip. Okay, shake that out a little bit. Let's get the legs moving a little bit. I'm gonna back up here so you can see the feet. And I'm gonna assume that you already have waist hooping. If you don't, you can just take the hoop around like so. It's gonna be a little hard to do some of the arm movements, but we're gonna try and do that anyway with getting everything nice and going. So keep the feet moving, and we're gonna start giving a nice straight spin. Get your forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, or side, side. 2 contact points is your main push points, okay? And then we're gonna bring the arms out. Bring the arms up, back in. Bring the arms out. Bring the arms back in. Out. Back in. And out. And back in. Now we're gonna change the directions. So we're gonna start the hoop going in the other direction, whichever side you didn't hoop on for waist hooping. Bring the arms up. Bring the arms back in. You're turning in the direction that the hoop is going. So turning in that rotation. Arms up, arms up, arms up, arms out. Good. All right. So we're just going to take a side step out to the side, and I'm going to be stepping in the direction that my hoop is going in just to make it easier. So we're going to take a step out, step together, step out, step together. Try and step into this with a little bit more of a lunge. Step out, step in. Now, other direction, step out, step in, step out, step in, step out, step in, step out, step in. Okay, going back to the first direction. So, my hoop is going to my right, so I'll demonstrate it going in the other direction. So, I'm going to step out, step in, step out, step in, step out, step in, step out, step in. Going to the left, my hoop is rotating to the left, step out, step in, step out, step in, step out, step in, step out, step in. Good. All right. So let's start getting a little finger beat in there, a little snapping going. Try not to raise your shoulders too much. If you want to, just snap overhead. Keep the abdominal wall pulled in and wrap. Whee! Drop your hoop. Use your happy hoop glee word, which is any happy word that you want to call out in a moment's notice, or a sound that's a happy sound rather than a swear word. Okay? Rock out? Yeah. We good? Okay. So, raising that up, body posture up, add those finger snaps. So let's just punch out a beat with the fingers. Snap it up, step it up, step it up, step it up, step it up. Ready to add some feet with this? I know you can. I know you can. You're probably just hooping in your favorite current. Your current is just the direction that your hoop is spinning. Now, some people call your current the way that you prefer to hoop, whether it's to the right or to the left, whichever. I like to call the current the way that your hoop is going, because I like to hoop in both currents. So I highly encourage you to hoop in both currents. So if you didn't already, switch directions with your hoop. Let's add some feet. So we got that little hand snap going, finger snap. Okay. So let's just do a little toe tap, toe tap, toe tap, toe tap. Remember that if you need to keep the hoop going, you can turn in the direction that the hoop is rotating in. That is going to be your in spin and the easiest thing to do to keep your hoop up. Tapping, snapping, 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 tapping, and keeping everything raised up. Yes, the arms are over the head, which means you're going to keep your heart rate up, which makes this a blast. Right? Okay. All right, let's switch it to the other direction and get that toe tap in with a finger snap above the head. If any time you're getting a little tired with any of this, you can either drop one of those activities out, grab some water, try and keep moving though if you can. Even if you just grab your hoop and you just do this toe tap. Keep it moving, keep it moving. So get that toe tap, alternating your feet, getting that snap over the head. Add some personality and style to it. You don't have to just but you can actually add some personality, add some rhythm, keep a beat. It doesn't have to be a steady beat. You can be like, snap, 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 whatever works for you. Sometimes one current isn't as up to snuff as your other current. That's okay. All right. Okay, so now we're going to rotate around, rotate around, rotate around, rotate around. All right, take this. We're taking a little bit of a breather, getting some footwork in, stepping forward. Step forward. Now, take this with some hips. All right, shall we add a little bit more belly dance to this now? All right, so we're going to raise the hoop up, wiggle the hips out to the side. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Now add some attitude to this, and if you can, come up on the balls of your feet. So wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. All right, and now we're going to bring that hoop down. Down, down. Keep it parallel to the ground. If you want to, you can take this forward and backwards, but keep that wiggle going. Only add things when they feel comfortable when you have all the other elements. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. You can step forward and step back if you want. Keep that wiggle going. Most important part of this is number one priority, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Number two, getting the hoop in this overhead float, this cylinder. And then third is getting footsteps in there. So you're doing a little traveling if you want. If that's too much, that's okay. Keep it in place. Don't worry about it. Keep up on the balls of your feet. Whether you're in shoes or in bare feet, keep that nice tall body posture. Keep that wiggle going. All right, now let's add some shoulders. So just take it forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. Now I want you to add a little shimmy with this. Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. If you want to, you can bring shimmy down, bring that back up, shimmy. So we're bringing it down, shimmy, bring it back up, shimmy, 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 bring it back up. So shimmy, 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 bring it back up, shimmy, 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 bring it back up. Down and up, down and up, down and up, down and up. Take it to the side, down and up, down and up, down and up, down and up. Good. Okay, so I'm adding a few things. It doesn't look like much until you actually try and do this with a hoop. So getting that coordination, it takes some brain cells and some physicality as well. So you can always bring this down to a basic, and you can also slow down the tempo. So you can get that shoulders. This is a little bit more of a jazz move rather than belly dance. So if you want to make it a little bit more belly dancey, bring the legs in. One variation, make the hands a little prettier. So we're going to be holding the hoop with a light fingertip grip and getting that shoulders in, keeping it posture nice. You can also pop the leg like this, more belly dancey. More belly dancing. Getting that in. Okay. Now, shoulders, hips, 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 shoulders, hips. Good. All right. There's a little bit that, now we're combining the two elements. All right. Ready to try that with a little bit more footwork here? Okay. Now, we're going to try it with the side step. Shoulders, hips, alternating with that side step. Okay. All right, let's put it all together. Ready? Shoulders, hips, shoulders, hips, shoulders, hips, shoulders, hips. I know there's a lot of coordination going on there. All right, let's try it to the other side. So shoulders, hips, shoulders, hips, shoulders, hips, shoulders, hips, and shoulders, hips. Good. All right. Take a nice deep breath in. I know. All right. Now, if you want to, let's actually try this with an overhead lasso because the hips are a little hard to do with waist tubing. All right. So we're going to try this with an overhead lasso, or what you can do, this is another way to do it. Actually, let's try this way. So let's try on the arms. If you have two hoops, great. Let's grab two hoops if you've got them. If not, we're just going to alternate to the sides. So just pick one hoop out to the side. Shoulders, hips, shoulders, hips, shoulders, hips, shoulders, hips. Now, shoulders, hips, shoulders, hips, shoulders, hips, shoulders, hips. Now, if you want to, try and go backwards with those, all right? So what I'm doing, getting that into, so I've got this going in wheel plane. So wheels, they look like wheels on a car, right? Okay, so I'm getting two hoops going. You don't have to have two hoops. Try one and then try the other. Try one, try the other. Okay. So shoulders, hips, shoulders, hips, shoulders, hips, shoulders, hips. Oops, that's it. I was going to go backwards with this. Okay. So I'm spinning the hoops backwards instead of forwards. It's going to add on another level. Depending on which direction is your favorite way to hoop. Most people would hoop like this, forward, I believe. I think that would be the natural inclination to go. Anyway, so we're going to do shoulders, hips, shoulders, hips, shoulders, hips, shoulders, hips. Okay, and if you're just using one hoop, we're going to go one more time. So switch directions on one side. So shoulders, hips, shoulders, hips, shoulders, hips, and shoulders and hips. Good. All right. There's some belly dance things for you on that. Okay. Now you can also do this with a lasso position. This. Okay. So, okay. You can see this one a little bit better. Okay. So lasso position, hand overhead, little thumb out for the foot brake or for the hand brake. And we're going to do a little shoulder. Now you're just going to be moving the free shoulder more. So it's going to go forward, 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 forward. The other shoulder is going to maybe move slightly, but I don't want you to focus on trying to get a double, shimmy like this with that arm, because we're concentrated on keeping this an autopilot move overhand, and then this as the accent shoulder move. So shoulder, 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 hip, 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 hip. Shoulder, 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 hip, 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 hip. Shoulder, 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 hip, 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 hip. Shoulder, 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 hip, 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 hip. Okay, switch directions. So we had one hand up, now you have the other hand up. Bring that arm out to the side, fingertips nice and long, and we're gonna get that shoulder going. Shoulder, 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 hip, 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 hip. Remember, keep that thumb brake out, keep that overhead, and much like waist tubing, 2 contact points. It's going around the whole hand, but you're doing this little push, either front, back, or side to side. So, and it can go in either direction, so it doesn't matter which way this is turning above head, so don't worry about that. Okay, shoulder, 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 hip, 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 hip. Shoulder, 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 hip, 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 hip. Shoulder, 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 hip, 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 hip. Shoulder, 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 hip, 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 hip. All right, so if that seemed confusing to you, that's okay, because we're adding elements. whenever you add elements to hooping, there's more to it than just the element. So this might be easy, this might be easy, this might be easy. But you start throwing all of them together and trying to sequence them out in your brain and get that in your body and get some grace and get those appendages out so you're not just like shoulder, 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 shoulder. Ah! So you want to here have a nice arm, nice fingertip length. Try and point that toe, have your knee popped. You know, you can add some of these different elements to make that a prettier kind of thing. Okay? All right. So let's see how we're doing on time. We're doing awesome. Okay. So now let's just take it out to the side. Let's get a little shoulder, 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 shoulder. So since I have the hoop overhead and getting this going forward, you can do this, but you're going to need to drop the hoop down so you have a little bit of arm movement. And so that I don't have the hoop in front of my face, I'm going to move this up and I'm going to shrug the shoulders up instead of bringing them forward. So I'm going up, up, up. So bringing them up towards the ears, up, 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 up. And now we're going to take this, we're going to change up the hips. We're going to do a little figure eight. So shoulder, 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 shoulder. Shoulder shrugs, and then figure eight, figure eight, figure eight, figure eight. Shoulder, shoulder, shoulder shrugs, figure eight, figure eight, figure eight, figure eight. Okay, I'm going to make this even a little bit easier on that. So we're going to do the shoulder shrugs, and then we're going to take this with a big hip circle. So shoulder, 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 hip circle, hip circle. Shoulder, 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 hip circle, hip circle. Shoulder, 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 hip circle. Shoulder, 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 hip circle. Shoulder, 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 hip, circle, last one, shoulder, 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 hip, circle. Nice. All right. Are your arms burning? There might be. All right. It's okay. It's all good. That's why this is a blast. Okay. So now we're going to take this all the way up since we just lower the arms down, get the blood flow down. Wiggle it out, wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, shake it all out, bring it all the way up to the sky. Inhale it in, and then bring it straight down the body. Exhale it out, release the head, hand, and shoulder. Bring it all the way up the body again. Flip the hair back if you have to. I had to. So, and then bring this all the way back down. Bring it all the way down to the ground one last time. Bring it all the way up. Inhale, lean up. And then just bring it back down. Give it a nice little twist to the side. Twist to the side. Twist to the side, twist to the side. Keep smiling. Work up, bringing the blast and landing. Okay, and we're just stepping with this. Step, step, step. Cross step, cross step, cross step, cross step. Back, 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 back. Good. All right. One last time. And you can just set this on the back of the shoulders, or you can actually set this on your head if you want. I have a ponytail holder. You can actually do this and just balance. So I highly suggest balancing. Bring this in. Bring that intent, bring all this happy energy into you. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, release that energy out, laugh it out. One more time, inhale it in. And laugh and extend out that energy. And give yourself a big hug in one direction. Try and reach those hands, the fingertips towards the spine and the back. Release it out. Wrap the arms in the other direction, over. And wiggle those fingers in towards the spine. And reach that in. Let's take and twist everything around in an equal position. So we're crossing the leg over, wrapping one arm over. And you're going to let go of that, and you're going to re-wrap in the other direction. It's a hoop drops, that's okay. You don't have to have it on there. But if you do have it still up, balance, good. But extra brownie points for you. Unwrap your eagle. Let your eagle soar. Bring it down. Alrighty. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. This has been a really wonderful belly dance blast. We kind of throw in a little extra dance in there too, but we brought it back around to the belly dance at the end. So I hope you've enjoyed hooping. with me. I'm Sherry Butcher of Hip to Hoopla. This has been a belly dance hoop blast class. All right, rock on, peace out. And if you haven't already, join the monthly membership because it's awesome. All right, rock on, peace out. Bye.